Hello viewers, welcome to my Doctor Who themed YouTube channel, Who Ventures. And this video I'm going to talk about Series 10, Episode 9, Empress of Mars. I thought this was a pleasant episode, veering towards a Russell T Davies era kind of feel. It was a very quiet episode. It's very despite the Ice Warrior, it felt like a really quiet, calm, not much happening episode. But it wasn't bad, it wasn't good, it was satisfactory. But again, it felt like they were showing us the B story when the A story of Nardole and Missy is a lot more intriguing and interesting, and the A story of the TARDIS stealing away Nardole and why is a lot more interesting than what they gave us on screen with the Ice Warriors, which was kind of boring. The music was kind of annoying that the most intriguing things are happening off screen and then they're giving us the stuff that isn't as exciting as what else is going on. So I know I didn't like it, but in the series Class, they gave us an episode where we saw one side of what was happening to one group of characters, and then we saw what was happening at the same time to the other group of characters. And it would be awesome if we could have like the shadow stories that tell us what's going on apart from the main story. I'd really like to see stuff like that, but we don't get that. We get these sort of generic stuff. So I did quite like this episode. Putting it about 7 out of 10, so it's a big leap from last week's episode. So it's pleasant enough. So let's get started with, we're in a new book. We are in a new notebook. I am a bit bushwhacked from the election because I'm disappointed because I voted for Jeremy Corbyn to be Prime Minister, so I was a bit upset yesterday when I found out that he wasn't automatically Prime Minister. So I was a bit depressed and down, and then today I've been a bit annoyed at myself and just not had much confidence with my creativity stuff. But I did have a go at a Doctor Who picture because I'm trying to get like more interest for this channel and more interest in my art, and it just kind of get a bit depressed because it feels like the other artists get loads and loads of likes and interest, and the other Doctor Who themed YouTube channels get like loads of followers and everything. I was just feeling a bit down because I really want more followers, and I really try as hard as I can to do stuff and be entertaining and joke about and stuff, and I get a bit down when, so I was a bit down today. But here's the picture I did today. So yeah, I just decided to just not look at any references, not try and be perfect, and just draw an idea straight out of my head, because I tend to get overly fastidious, and then it'll take me ages to draw up an idea, and then I'll be disappointed when not as many people as I thought like it. And the thing that people like the most is the stuff that I don't like do as much about try and make realistic. It's just my comics, my most popular thing, and that's sort of free drawing rather than observing like this. So yeah, so if I seem a bit flatter than usual, and I haven't actually filmed this straight after the episode because I was hungry and I had some tea. So I had rice and some fake chicken and spring rolls and pork crackers, and that was lovely. So, and then had a can of Coke for a treat. So let's get to the episode then. So we start off and we're at NASA, so I liked that first bit. And then there's lots of computeriness, and they've got a Valkyrie probe, sent it to Mars, and it's going to send its first transmission. And I do love all the stuff about the real probes that we've got in Curiosity and everything. I love all that stuff. So we have countdown and 10, 9, 8, and then the Doctor turns up, joining in with the countdown, and Bill and Nardole are hanging out at NASA, and NASA haven't noticed they've turned up. And Nardole's at the side having a cuppa. That was awesome. And then the Doctor said, "Oh, I've just turned up to stay up for the kids, so we wait and see what the probe says." And they look at the screen, and they're on the Martian ice caps, and they see a message in rocks, and it says, "God save the Queen." And it's on Mars, and the NASA are like, "What?" And then there was a very lovely smile from the Doctor. It's like, it was very sweet, and he changed a lot from the Lie of the Land. He wasn't as manic. He was calm, quite calm, and very sweet with his smiles and everything. So then we go into the titles, and then we're all in the TARDIS to Mars, Bill, the Doctor and Nardole, and they land in 1881, but the Doctor says, "Oh, it might be earlier," and they've all got the spacesuits on, and the spacesuit looks pretty sexy on 12. Then a lot of this episode, there was like references to movies. And Bill mentioned Terminator movie, and then they discover a tent and a campfire. They're like, "Whoa!" And then Nardole, and then they're like, "Oh, is it okay to take our helmets off?" And the Doctor said, "Well, and Bill's saying, 'There's fire, there's got to be oxygen,' and then Nardole's already took his helmet off, and the Doctor's like, 'What do you do that for?' And then Bill mentions the Thing movie. Then Bill wanders off and falls down a hole. So Nardole is sent off to go to the TARDIS to get some rescue gear. But the TARDIS kidnaps Nardole. But we don't find out how the TARDIS, why the TARDIS decided to kidnap Nardole and take him back to the office. But the TARDIS does have a fast return system where she can take herself out of danger and go and take herself away from danger. So that maybe it's just that mechanism. So Nardole is off in the TARDIS, and the Doctor's kind of pissed off at that. And then the Doctor's seeing a big ice warrior stomping round the corner, and Bell's seeing a steampunk astronaut guy, and he takes his helmet off, and he's really hot with a really cool moustache, and he's fit. Then Nardol's in the TARDIS, but he can't get the TARDIS to go back to Mars, and the TARDIS has been really difficult. And then there's all this stuff about, the Doctor's but was an honorary guardian of the Tithonian Hive, and the Ice Warrior has been called Friday. Then we see that the TARDIS has landed back in the Doctor's office at the university, and Nardol's gone down to the vault, and he says, "Hello, miss, I'll ask you." And then Nardol's asking Missy for help. Missy says, "Oh, well, of course I can help you," because he wants Missy to show him how to fly the TARDIS. And Missy saying, "But you kind of have to let me out of the vault." So he does let her out of the vault, but we don't see that bit, which is annoying. So the Bill and the Doctor are stuck on Mars with these Victorian soldiers, and the Victorian soldiers found an interplanetary vessel with an ice warrior, and the ice warrior convinced the Victorian soldiers to take him back to Mars. So, and the Doctor's trying to be undercover, but he's a bit crap at it. Then there was a Victoria sponge. It was nice, because obviously the Victorian soldiers working for Queen Victoria, and there's a lovely Victoria sponge, and I would have had a slice. And they're having tea. So this ice warrior which the soldiers called Friday, asked the soldiers for help. And then the soldiers made this mining equipment to search Mars for some treasure, because Friday said they could get some treasure. So they set up this mining equipment, start blowing up bits of Mars so they can get treasure. General idea, I wrote general idea, old love. I don't know. Then the soldiers are stuck on Mars because their ship broke, so they can't get back again, and the supplies are running low. The soldiers are stuck on Mars. The ice warrior then turns up his waiter and he's clearing the table, and then the Doctor's talking about the ice warriors because they've sort of lowered the level of the episodes to, and it seems like they're trying to explain it to 5-year-olds now, 4 and 5-year-olds. So the Doctor's all, ice warriors, it's a species, but it wears a carapace, and it's all like this stuff. And then I wrote, Bill likes this movie, The Vikings, because for some reason, because she thinks it says ice warriors are like Vikings, because they're like warriors, but they also like flowers. And then Friday is like, oh, can't be doing this anymore. And the soldiers we thought there was going to be treasure, but we just can't find any. And then the other soldiers, they blow a bit of Mars, and then they find something, and their mining machine is called Gargantua, and it uncovered the Ice Queen's tomb. And then the Doctor's saying, careful, it's the tomb of the Ice Queen. And then Colonel Catchlove says, I thought it was good. And then Freddy wanted to get back to Mars to his queen, and the British Empire are extending to Mars. The sergeant's tranquilized. Catchlove has actually repaired the ship properly, but he hasn't told anybody. And then this old guy called Jackdaw, he wants to nick some treasure and then go home. So he starts nicking the crystals out of the Ice Queen's tomb. So he actually managed to prize one out of the tomb, the side of the tomb. He got blue one, and the Ice Queen woke up and found the soldier, and then she just and it's like a beach ball, so it's like reverse Pokemon. Reverse Pokemon! Ow. And then, so the Sentinels thing, something's resurrected the Ice Warrior Queen, and this where it gets a bit like like a copy of the Hungry Earth episode, is they hibernated, and then they were going to wake up and like be awesome, and then the Sentinel turns up and says, I had a bit of a lie-in, love. Stayed in bed so long. It's been 5,000 years. And she's like, duh, why didn't you set the alarm clock? So the Empress of Mars is called Araxa, so like referencing that Queen Victoria was the Empress of India. So Araxa is the Empress of Mars. Then Catchlove wants to attack her, just automatically go attack her. But the doctor's asking, no, they're stupid humans. Put mercy for the humans. And then he tells that the Ice Warriors, yeah, Mars is dried up a bit now, love. You can't stay here. And then Araxa talks to Bill. So this is where it gets a bit Hungry Earth, where the women, he gets a couple of the women to try and negotiate peace. So Bill tries to persuade Araxa to have mercy on the soldiers and stuff. And then the doctor said, Araxa, fight for the future, and Araxa...
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
I knew that would happen, because it sounds so much like her. Araxa. Not you, love. Says, like, oh, it's okay, I'll have mercy on these soldiers. I will just turn them into beach balls really quickly. And then the soldiers went to use the gargantuan mining machine as a weapon and just blast the Ice Warrior Queen. And they try that, and then they block the tomb and with some bricks, and they make the wall again. So they're on the other side. And then we find out this other colonel was, he was hung for desertion, but he didn't like work, so he escaped that punishment. And Captain Neville Catchlove, who's really hot but a bit of a twat, just wants to take over, destroy everything, and just be really destructive. So then there's a little prison-y room, and Bill and the doctor in this little prison bit, and Araxa awoke her Ice Warriors, and then the doctor's like, they're in the prison bit, and says, no, don't do wood, no setting for wood. Why none it do wood? And then the soldiers say, who are you anyway? And Bill's saying, well, we're sort of police. And then the soldier says, a woman in the police force. Then Bill says, well, I'll let that slide, because I'll let your Victorian values slide, because you are Victorian. And we found out this soldier deserted because he was too he was a coward and he was scared. And then the doctor says, it's quiet. It is traditional to say it's too quiet at this rate. That was funny. Then the ice warriors start coming through the floor because the ice queen's waking up all the other ice warriors. And the soldiers are firing up the gargantua. Then we see the Tomb of the Cybermen reference with all the ice warriors in these different pods. And the ice queen is waking them up. And then the young soldier, and he's going to get married, and it's like, oh, I'm going to get married, oh, make a bit of money, yeah, it's going to be awesome, beach bald. It's just a weird effect when it just, I don't know, it looks like whether it looks more funny than scary, because they're just pokeballed. It's like, I don't get it really. I thought that could have been a better effect really. And then the Ice Warrior, Friday, he wants to work together with the Doctor to try and stop the Ice Queen. And so the Doctor needs distraction. So then Bill is saying, oi, Iraxa, let's talk, woman to woman. And then Bill is saying, but we can stand together, yeah. And then the Doctor, he got the machine and he was like, I could fire it at the poles and get an internal winter. And then the Doctor said, like Frozen. So obviously the Doctor's seen Frozen. It's a movie. And then Catchlove is threatening the Ice Queen with a knife like that. And he try and take Iraxa hostage. And then this scared guy, he shoots Catchlove. And it's like giving his life to Iraxa to prove something, I don't know. And say, do not judge humans by the coward or the fighter. I didn't really get do not judge humans by the coward. What, by the person who didn't want to fight and be mean to people, but was... Then Iraxa is a bit of a dick. And then it's like, she makes it like, no, you'll stay here and eventually I will make you fight and then you will go down. So she's a bit of a shit. And then the Doctor saying, and then Bill saying, you knew this would happen, Doctor. And then the Doctor saying, oh, that's the problem, thinking like a warrior. So he doesn't approve of Iraxa or the Ice Warriors solution. But the Ice Warriors can't stay on Mars because for some reason, even though he says he fires it at the pole, gives them eternal winter. But then he also said earlier that the planet is dried up and is dust. So how can it both be eternal winter with snow and have dust? I didn't quite follow that. And then, so the Doctor sends an email to get somebody to help the Ice Warriors, and then someone replies to the email, and it's Alpha Centauri. Now, I haven't actually watched the episode with Alpha Centauri, so I don't know the background but it's an iconic character design, but I don't know the background to the story, and I'm thinking a lot of new viewers won't know the background, so it'll go over their heads completely. But Alpha Centauri saying, welcome to the universe, I'm going to get you. So they basically, I thought it was quite amusing that the Alpha Centauri and the Ice Warriors are going to be a really dodgy coalition. So I thought that was funny. And so to make sure the Alpha Centauri people can she can find where they need to pick up the ice warriors from. The Doctor and Bill, the coward soldier guy, they make a message, the God Save the Queen message out of the rocks. So in a few years NASA can find it. And then then the TARDIS comes back and Nardol's with the TARDIS, and then the Doctor and Bill walks into the TARDIS, and then it turns out Missy's also in the TARDIS, and the Doctor's like, it's not appropriate, you made a promise you'd stay in the vault. And then Missy goes up to the Doctor, are you alright, Doctor? Are you really alright, Doctor? And I think when the Doctor did his fake out regeneration, maybe it accidentally started an actual regeneration, or maybe a little bit of Valeyard came out. So, or maybe he knew that it wasn't really a fake regeneration, that I'll do a bit, and then for some reason he's got control, that he can just let it be really slow. But I think he's obviously is welling up when he was sad something, so I don't know how that works. So that was the episode. It didn't really make much sense as usual recently. It wasn't the best episode. It wasn't like something I haven't seen before. It wasn't like, oh wow, that idea is amazing. And I think my favourite Mark Gatiss episode is the Crimson Horror, because that's like, it's got lots in that. It's got accents, Doctor doing Yorkshire, then it's got the olden days, it's got Strax, and it's got that really cool thing where they look at the photographs of the eyes and you can see the Doctor. I thought that was cool. And Rachel Sterling, and marvellous acting, and it's really gets going. But this episode was okay. It's just a episode. Nothing new, nothing amazing, but it wasn't awful. So it was, if I could probably, when I go on Galley B, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10, because it was perfectly okay. Again, everybody on the cast crew and all the actors do a marvellous job. But again, I wanted more Nardole and more Missy. I kind of don't want to go with Bill and the Doctor. I want to go off with Nardole and Missy, because I find that a lot more intriguing. And I'd find that a lot more interesting, the psychology of Nardole and Missy, and finding more about Nardole's background. So I really hope there's going to be some extra Nardole content and extra Missy content somehow, whether that's on screen or Big Finish or stories or comics. I need more of them. So yeah, that's my review of Empress of Mars. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Yay!